Hi, I'm Dorv Armour, and welcome to In Frame.
Live from Black Lodge Video in Memphis, Tennessee, In Frame, with special guest Dorv Armour and Daniel Martine. And featuring Rachel Ehemann. And your hosts, J. Lazarus Hawk and Jamie Hall. Hello, I'm J. Lazarus Hawk.
I'm Jamie Hall.
And we are Rising Fire Productions. Welcome to this week's episode of In Frame. This week we'd like to welcome our special guests, Dorv Armour and Daniel Martine. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much, guys.
Glad to be here.
Well, the biggest reason, now of course, Daniel, you were on the show just a couple weeks back.
Was it? It was more like a couple months.
It was about a month
It
ago.
all blends.
Yeah.
But at that time, I personally did not know, and you were not in a position to discuss the reason you are back here today with Dorv at your side. The two of you have organized a showcase.
That's correct.
For local and regional filmmakers.
That's correct.
Giving them an opportunity to see films on a big screen, to be a part of a live streaming event, to
And
go through an awards ceremony process,
Yeah.
and actually get recognition for the work they put into the films they produce.
That's the purpose of the showcase. Yes.
So, I know that this comes out of earlier showcases that you have done.
Yeah, I did my first one back in 2008. We showed 6 films, and that was successful. At that particular time, I was in a position where I didn't have to charge the filmmaker and I didn't have to charge the audience. I wish I was still in that position for this, but on this one, yes, we're going
Well,
it's a minimal charge. It's not much. Okay, whereas it's a $10 entry fee for the film, $10 for each screening, and $10 for the award ceremony. So I'm still trying to keep it very low as far as budget-wise.
By today's ticket standards, that's phenomenal. And as
yeah.
far as film submission prices goes, that's unheard of.
when you have
That's what I was
film
trying to tell him.
festivals-
You fought me on it.
when you have film festivals that are $60, $70,
Exactly.
that's a lot of money to a filmmaker.
Especially an independent filmmaker that's doing most of the film out of his front pocket anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So whenever he has a festival that maybe he's even late charges can get up to almost $200 now in some of these film festivals.
And it's not a guarantee that
That you're going to be
you're going to
accepted.
be
That's
that you're
true.
going to be accepted, and there's no refunds for that.
That's true. Now, we're not guaranteed you're going to be shown either. What we're hoping is that we have enough films that we're going to select 20. Those 20 will be screened, and over 2 nights, 10 showed each night. That's what we're hoping. That's our purpose that we're hoping to have. So, just because you do send it in, it's not the guarantee. Also,
Yeah, it might not be the guarantee, but you're not looking at losing 40 or 50.
I was going
No,
to say, you're not
no.
losing a large investment either.
not at all.
No.
Now,
That's 2 Starbucks coffees
in
that you don't have to have.
previous showcases you've done, they've basically been 1 2-hour block or
That's
so.
correct. Yeah,
Single screening one night.
that's right.
I know this differs in a number of ways, in that you're going to have multiple nights.
Mhm.
You're going to follow that up. Now, is it a third night for
Well,
the awards?
if we're working with the venue that I'm hoping that we're getting, then the second screening will be early in the day, and the award ceremony will be the evening of that same day.
Same day evening.
But
okay.
I'm not at liberty to announce that yet because we're still in negotiation.
Right.
Okay, I
for that
fully
particular
understand
venue.
that. Now, possibly the biggest change for your showcases from this, or in this one to the previous ones, is bringing in Daniel Martine and doing the live stream, where you're actually going to have this entire event
The awards ceremony.
of the award ceremony, not the screenings, put out into the internet live.
Right.
How did that come about?
That was Daniel's idea. Daniel knows more about the technical stuff as far as for the computer type things and what format.
Shooting live television, yeah.
And screening live television, the format that the filmmakers did.
Right.
I'm not into
Okay,
all that,
I guess-
but he is.
I guess I meant more, why this type of event, and why stream?
I wanted this kind of event because the three that I've already done that were successful. I had numerous filmmakers come up to me and ask me to expand this, that they wanted to see more opportunity for more local filmmakers to be able to show their wares. I didn't fight them on it. I just wasn't in a position to expand it. This year,
Right.
I'm in a position to expand it, and they wanted to go with an award ceremony. I fought them on that for several times. That no, I didn't want to go to that level, but they wanted to take it to the level. So we're trying to give it this. This is what the community wants. Let's give them what they want.
Okay.
They want bigger venue, wider area and scope of films that can be seen. And they want to be, like you said, recognized for what they had done. The award ceremony will give them that.
Okay.
We're doing actually 12 different categories, which I'll let Daniel get into here in a moment, that we will be giving awards in. So as far as I know, it's never been done here in Memphis for the film community.
Not that I'm aware of,
No.
especially with a live streaming event.
No,
And I'm definitely a supporter of it, but I'm curious what benefits or what exposure or are you hoping that having a live stream of this type of event will accomplish for the filmmakers?
Well, obviously, we're going to have a limited number of seating for the actual venue. I think this venue we're talking is 368 is the max.
Right.
Yeah, it's
You're talking about
368.
the screening?
Yeah, for the screening and for the award
And for-
ceremony, right. So obviously, there's a lot of people in the film community in the Mid-South region, Memphis specifically, and there's a lot more than that are involved with it, various aspects of filmmaking. So for those people who cannot, there's two reasons to do the live broadcast. One, to give those people who are not able to attend the opportunity to see the ceremonies. Two, it'll be live taped. We'll do some editing afterwards, and it will be made available as a DVD for sale of the event itself, as for no other reason, for just posterity. That is not going to.
All right, sorry for that. We had a moment of technical difficulty. Now, sorry, where were we?
Oh, well, we were talking about some of the details that filmmakers are going to need to know in order to make their submission. First of all, as Dorv said, there are 14 categories. There are 12 major categories, and there are 2 other categories we're adding that are going to take place the night of the day or night of the screenings, which are 2 extra audience awards. We're going to, first of all, of all the submissions, I want to make something clear to filmmakers so they're aware of how we're working this. All the original films and submissions that come in to us are going to be screened in-house by us and our staff. Then we're going to choose 20 films and 6 music videos to be then adjudicated, judged by local people who are in the film and entertainment and or media community. Most of you know who they are, and they're all legit people, and we won't have any part of that judging for the actual
Right.
awards.
No.
We're just going to winnow the process down, okay? And there are some guidelines. First, you can submit. They're only film shorts. Film shorts either could be documentary or actual films, narrative films, and they have to be 22. Runtime has to be 22 minutes or less. Then we are asking for music video submissions, of which 6 are going to be chosen. They will not be seen during the screenings, but they will be seen the night of the award ceremony to break up the ceremony.
Okay.
Okay, they will have already been chosen by the
Right,
judges,
right.
so the winner will have been chosen, but they will be screened as part of the ceremony,
Okay.
sprinkled throughout the ceremony, the awards. The next thing is that we need, and we actually had some calls already about this. I would like to have an H02xE04 MOV file format, which is very high def. That's what we want to be able to show. There are some people are talking to us about they're having trouble converting their file to that Mac file.
Right.
So if that happens, you'll be able to Facebook us that information privately, or we'll give that information up later. We have a Facebook website, we'll have a blog site put up, and we'll give you emails to send that, and then we're going to have somebody in-house for those who absolutely cannot make their own transference. We'll do it, and we have to discuss this. We might have to do a fee for that. Yeah, but if they can't do it, because
You send the film, we'll work it out.
we'll figure out how to do it, because we want a uniform
Right.
a uniform codec.
need.
Yeah, for high definition viewing.
Yeah.
There are 12 major categories. Let's see if I can remember all these. Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Screenplay, that's 5. Best Editing, Best Sound, that's 7. Thank you. Best Effects, help me out. Best Director, Best Film, Best Video, that's 11. What are we skipping?
Best editing.
I said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And director of photography.
Said,
Director
best,
of photography.
best, yeah, director of photography, cinematography.
And
That's
best
it.
screenplay.
Those,
Did you say screenplay?
did.
I did say that. So those are the 12 categories that we are going to be adjudicating.
And then your 2 audience
The
awards.
2 audience
are-
awards will give people index cards the night of the. We're going to show an extra the next 5 films that didn't make the cut, the original 20 cut. We're going to have those 5 films on each night, same films on each night for them to see, and then we'll pass out the index cards and pick them up afterwards.
Okay.
You know, vote on that.
Yeah.
Those will be the audience
Yes,
selection.
and
Audience
we also.
selection out of the top 5 that do not
Runner-ups,
make-
I guess.
The
Yeah,
top
I guess the 5
runner-ups.
the 21st through 25th film.
Right.
Okay, they give them an extra opportunity for the audience to have their say. Okay.
Now, are you limiting a filmmaker on how many films an individual filmmaker can submit?
No.
No. You
Why?
can
There's
send-
no reason to, because our time frame is 2011 to 2013.
Even if they want to go out and make one right now, if they can get it in before January the 2nd,
Yeah,
go
which
make
is
a
the
film.
deadline, January 2nd.
Okay.
Go make a film. If you can make you one and send it and have it done by then, go make it. Go do it. Send
Yeah,
it to me.
that's. But we're looking for 2000 films that were made 2011, 2012, and 2013,
Okay.
and which I don't
It's a
know if we're going to
3-year
do.
window.
It's a 3-year window. I don't know if we're
That's-
going to move forward that same way, but to get this kicked off.
To get this kicked off, it was like, let's go back that couple of years so that we get, hopefully we'll get enough films that we can pick
if you
from.
do this again in a year's time, it'd be kind of hard to ask for films made in 2012.
That's
But
correct.
you might open up 2013 because people might have filmed something they didn't finish.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Or they
right.
might have,
Exactly right.
they might have in post-production or scoring,
Yeah.
composing, or anything like that, and not
They
able to make
just
it.
might not have completed
Right.
by then.
And I guess we ought to stop at this point and actually tell them what the name of the showcase is.
Yes, it is called the MidSouth Film Showcase.
Exactly.
MSFS.
And you can find that on Facebook under that name. You can go to our page.
MidSouth Film Showcase.
That's right.
And we have a Facebook page, and we're going to have we don't have an event page, but we have an entertainment page for them to look at. And on that entertainment page, if you access it on Facebook, there's a place where you can download the submission form, entry form, and guidelines. It's 4 pieces of paper. You can download it by clicking on it. It'll download, and it'll give you all the information you need, including the single entry form you need to send in, along with a synopsis, 1-page synopsis of the story. What else? We have it written down.
It's on here.
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah, I was very thorough when I made that. A synopsis. You also need what's the word I'm looking for? A filmography of the director. More information about the director and
Bio at all?
yeah, the bio,
Yeah,
bio,
yeah, just-
and a bio.
Yeah, basically.
So we know who you are when we make the programs up.
Gotcha.
For those who and also for the presenters and for our hosts. I think both of them said they'd do it. So can we talk about?
Are we asking for headshots from directors and people as well?
No.
No,
we
but
haven't-
that's a darn good idea.
I mean, if you're talking about
No, you're
putting
right.
it
You're
into a
right.
program,
We should. Yeah. Thank you. I will amend that document. You can't think of everything, right?
Right.
So that's a great idea. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Now, you had an announcement you were considering.
We have a
here?
couple. You want to announce who our
No,
hosts
you
will be?
announced because you got the host, so you get.
Well, we have 2 very well-known Memphis actors. Everybody knows them, likes them, has worked with them. They're both very professional. They're both SAG actors, and they are well-known in the community, and they're attractive, well-spoken, and by God, we love them. We're going to have a male and female
This is going to be your host.
host, the actual show host, not the presenters. It will be Travis Stone and Stephanie Norwood.
Excellent.
They've committed
Excellent.
to come on.
They've committed to doing it.
You can never go wrong with the Stone.
No. You know, I love the Stone. He and I have worked together on Kid Diamond. So I mean,
Absolutely.
but Stephanie Norwood is a terrific actress. She's
Very fine.
She's easy on the eyes, and she's smart and glib
Very
and funny,
professional as well.
and
Yes.
very professional, as is Travis. So we wanted that in our hosts.
It's a good, strong blocking.
The presenters, we have a couple people in mind for presenters, and we've already started talking to potential judges, but those are not set in stone yet.
Not set in stone yet, but that's basically the way the procedure of the award ceremony will go.
Right.
No,
We'll
well,
have
this-
presenters. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
it's fine.
Now, is this something that y'all are going to continue year after year or
Well,
every other
this is
year?
our hopes.
This
This
is
is
your
our
hopes.
hopes. We're going to see how the Memphis and local community supports this, and if they support it the way that we believe they will, then yes, we'll turn this into an annual event.
Well, the last one that you was a part of, which was you and
TJ
Cates,
Mhm.
which was the Cowpen
Yeah.
Film Festival.
It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. I was actually a part of that.
Mhm.
Cold Blooded. That's where the trailer for Cold Blooded premiered. Was at that one.
That's right.
And it was, you you guys put it together in a short amount of time, and it turned out to be, it was a
It
huge
was a
turnout.
pretty good crowd there.
Very
Uh,
good turnout.
And
Huge.
everybody there was very supportive of what you guys did. And there wasn't even, I don't believe there was an entry fee or
There was an admission fee, but
There
it was
there
only
was an admission
$5.
fee.
It was
Yeah,
$5.
it was
$5
$5,
to go
but
in,
y'all
so
didn't charge
cheap.
anything for people to submit the music videos or
Right.
the movies or anything like that. So, I mean, with the success that you've had in the past with these, with the way that you guys are structuring this now, I really do believe it would be something that would.
I know at Studio on the Square, we had standing room only at all three of them up there.
Mhm.
I mean, matter of fact, I haven't even, the only one that I actually sat in the theater and watched the films was the first one. The other two, I wouldn't take up the space because I'm a producer, I've seen all
Yeah.
of them, so let someone else that hadn't seen them have a seat.
Give
You
up
know,
a
I
pace.
didn't even get it going to the theater because I had a success of so much turnout. And I believe we'll have the same thing with this. I really do. I really believe.
I
we will.
really hope you do, and I think you will. I think that this is something. I mean, I love the idea. Jamie loves the idea.
I think it's phenomenal.
I can't imagine any other filmmaker in town not loving this idea because this is why we do it, so that people will see what we do, so it will get recognized.
It's a celebration
Whether
of
we want
what
to be recognized
filmmakers
for
are
doing it
doing
or we
in
want the
Memphis.
product we
Yeah.
make recognized,
The
we
purpose
still
of the
want it
first
put
one
out
was
there.
that, was so that the filmmaker could see his finished product on the big screen. That's what all filmmakers, even actors and things like this, you look forward to making it and then seeing it on the big screen. And it gave the opportunity to the filmmaker to be able to see his work on a 30-foot wall so that he could go, wait a minute, I've been watching this on a 42-inch monitor or something now. Ooh, I've got to change something here. I've got to light different because it looks different on a 30-foot wall.
Yeah.
Or makeup's got to be different because it brings up blemishes and faces.
And
when-
those things really do change how you look at making your product. I know
Exactly.
we had some experiences with Cold Blooded when we saw it on the big screen. I think I was the first one. I kind of went, oh,
yeah.
Nobody else,
No one
nobody
else saw
else said
it.
anything about it, but we
but
seen
we
it.
actually could see our lighting man's leg in the corner of a shot.
Oh,
Just with the light faded rim on a small screen, it goes black quick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You got it up on that 40-foot, 30-foot screen.
It's a whole different
and there's
look.
a pair of shoes, and no one caught it. Thank God.
And one of the big
But
things.
I did, and we went back and we had to do some little color correction to fix
And
a
one of
few
the big things that filmmakers learn about doing it on the big screen, they learn about how their sound's got to be better. That's one of the main
Now,
things
that
they
was-
really learn.
That was something I was going to discuss. Is you're going to have judges. You say local film
some
people. and things
local,
like
some
that.
local, some not local.
I was going to say, will there be? I don't want to be indelicate, but will there be more experienced people who can really help local filmmakers learn where it is they're weakest and start making those corrections?
Well,
Whether that's going from a good story to a script and how to go
Right.
from a good story to a good script, or whether that's what
Right
you
now,
just hinted at,
on
which
first
is
time out of the gate
it's
here,
a visual medium, but if you can't hear it, you
on
can't
first
watch it.
time, I would be, Laz, I'd love to be able to say, yes, we're bringing in much more higher grade professional people than we are accustomed to working with. But it being the first time out of the gate, no, we're keeping it more local and regional areas even with our judges. if this thing hits and we can expand it, yes, then we can go there. We even hope to be able to bring some of these professionals in to maybe even speak and give seminars, such as large festivals do. We would love to
Yeah.
get to that point.
I mean, I have no idea who you've talked to, what your end goal is, or any of your structure yet.
Well, I think what
all
you-
I know as much as anybody else right now, but
Right.
we at one point had an idea for something similar, and the idea was to maybe have someone like, in our case, we were looking at 3 judges. John Bifus, whose job it is to critique film. Mike McCarthy, who is someone who works at a local level, very outside the box of the traditional filmmaking, and still has success. And then a Craig Brewer, who is someone who's worked within the constraints of the professional
Yeah,
industry.
the big industry.
And basically have them not created as a competition, but more or less say, this is what you did right, this is what you did wrong,
Gotcha.
kind of a thing. And I think that would be a cool
Well,
element.
there's no question that would be terrific to do that, but that requires a great deal of time by the judges involved to take the time to do that.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I'm thinking the award itself, just having an award ceremony begins that process.
it does
Yes.
begin that process,
Yes, it
but
does.
as you mentioned, it doesn't really tell you or any of the filmmakers where it is they might need to improve.
Where they could grow.
And that is crucial. And again, as Dorv said, we're not going to be able to do that this year, but it is. But I mean, I've thought about it. But it requires another commitment by judges who actually made the choices for
Right.
whatever reasons they did or didn't. It requires them to take the extra time to write all that down and or be available to the filmmakers in an open forum to do that, and that would cost money
Of course.
for their time. But it's that
And
really
we're wide open
that
to
yeah
where
that
this could go and what we can do in
Yeah.
the future. We're wide open to it. We're just wanting to do something where the local filmmaker gets more exposure than what's been given to them in the past.
So the
That's-
local can become the regional can become
Yeah,
the national.
we're not wanting to compete with festivals, or I don't want to get into that mess, I hope success to all the festivals that are local.
Well, it's not a festival.
It's not a festival.
it's not a festival. It's not in the
Festival sense.
festival sense. Most festivals exist, although less of them now, because we had this discussion
Right,
earlier today about
distribution.
distribution and that sort of and the new kind of digital distribution that exists. But there's only around 6 to 8 festivals anymore that exist primarily for the distributors to go there and make deals with filmmakers. It used to be a majority of them. Now that's changed because of the internet.
And it's really still only the core.
Well, you're talking
original
Cannes, you're
one.
talking New York Film Festival, Berlin
Right.
Film Festival,
Sundance.
Sundance,
Slam dance.
Those are what you're, Toronto Festival,
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about. And other than that, the distributors aren't going. They're not going.
It's not feasible
It's
for
not
them.
feasible because there's too much material out there and because of digital distribution as it exists today, which is completely different.
So bringing it back to the showcase itself, what are you hoping that filmmakers will get from having an actual ceremony present? I mean, you say people have asked for it. Do you think it's that sense
I think
of
one thing that they're
competition,
going
or
to
do
take
you-
away from it is the fact, okay, if they've covered all the screenings and they've seen the 20 films, and of course one of their films is in there,
Right.
okay, and they've seen the 19 other films, and let's say they are nominated in the best film category, but they don't win. They at least they were exposed to 19 films, and they were exposed to the 4 other ones that were in there, and they can see that. Wait a minute,
Then they can.
I got to
they can
that
see
level,
the
but
one
what
that
did what did that film do
That I didn't.
that got them to the next level? And can I do it the next time I go to make a film? Is this the step I need to take? Same way with sound, special effects. Same
well-
thing. They're looking at it and going, whoa, what did they do that was one notch above what I was doing? So where do I get to that level? What do I have to do to get to that level? This
And
is what
I
we're
love
hoping
that
will
you're
happen.
doing it because it really comes down to the three strongest things I think that any independent, not just local, any independent needs to look at is the story/script, lighting, and sound.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I think sound is before all of it, because no matter how good or bad your script is, if you can't hear it, it doesn't matter.
I helped Kent at a high school, and one of the things that I said to the students there is first-time filmmakers have a tendency to overlook sound. They're way into the picture, and if you don't have sound, all you have is a slideshow. That's all you got.
See,
Because you can have the prettiest pictures in the world.
You've had that experience.
Well, I've not only had that experience, but in my first film, Morning Ritual, I knew already, and I wasn't by no means any kind of filmmaker at that point, but I knew enough then to know sound is so important, and I didn't know what we would have to work with in sound, that I designed it so that all sound could be done in post.
So you did an MOS.
It's all MOS.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it. Everything in there was added by Wheat, and he was an absolute genius at doing it. But I knew that bad sound could kill something.
It kills you.
So I chose to go with no sound and then design it, because I didn't know what we'd be able to do live. And I've seen what happens to productions. There are films in here at Black Lodge on shelves that I've rented and watched, and I've wondered, how did these people get their films on a shelf in any store when 10 minutes in I can barely hear the dialogue?
Well, it's one thing that I've found that young filmmakers have a tendency to overlook. Their concentration's everywhere else but there. And that's the key. Sound is the key.
I agree.
Absolutely.
There's no question. I
Absolutely.
agree. Yeah.
Okay, you could close your eyes to a good story, and if the sound's right, you can still catch
You
the
can
story.
still hear it.
And you still know what story is. But if you have none of the sound, and you could be watching all the pictures, and you may not get what the story is.
It doesn't
Well,
even
with
matter how pretty the pictures are at
Exactly.
some
Well,
point.
these
you
day
may
and
not get
age,
the
everything is
story.
pushed to people with the high definition televisions, Blu-ray, and everything like that. That's a lot of young filmmakers when they first start off. Is I have to have this $12,000 high definition camera, and what about your sound? Well, it's got an onboard. It's got an onboard
It's got a
mic.
mic.
You know, I could get my sound like that, but that's
That's always bad.
Camera sound is bad.
Camera sound is never good.
And true filmmakers know that. That they know it. And so this is where we're hoping to go with the showcase. We're a young filmmaker that, let's say it's the first time out of the gate, but he did a good film. It's just that technically it needed some improvement, but overall it's a pretty good film for a guy the first time out the gate. I mean,
Right.
we've all seen people that can do films that way. That, wow, this is a brand new filmmaker and this is good stuff. But he just needs help on the technical
He needs
end,
pro-
on how to
he needs production and
improve
technical.
this things. And this is what we're hoping it'll do, the showcase will do for a young filmmaker like that.
Well, see, that was, as I said off camera before we started the show, that was actually one of the reasons we did this show, was to get talent in here so that other talent could see that they're out there.
Right.
Whether that's an actor sitting here and a director sees it, or vice versa, whether an actor sees it, oh, I didn't know that person was an active director in my town, a makeup artist, a musician, a hairstylist, a set designer, a dancer, I don't care, just any form of art, we bring it in hopes that the overall community will gel, start to intermix a little bit stronger, and really take advantage of the talent we have and nurture it into better products.
It happened to me on every showcase I've done. Every showcase there's been a filmmaker that's put a film in there that, as an actor, I went, I'd like to be directed by this guy. I like how I like the directing, so I would like to work with him. Especially at the Cowpen when Cold Blooded came out. When I saw it, I went, whoa. I was super impressed with it. It was like, I want to work with this man. I want to work with this guy. He's doing something I want to do.
He definitely has a different way of working than most
And I've
people.
had a
Yeah.
chance to work with him.
There's a reason I chose him as a partner.
You know, so it happens. It happens, and that's what we're hoping that will continue to happen with the showcases. Is that every level of filmmaking, they can say, hey, well, I can co-op with this guy, and he can teach me a little bit better on how to light something.
Well, that's, I mean,
that's one of the things that we've always said. We've always invited people out from from somebody that has said, I want to do this, and I've invited people out. Matter of fact, we said something about Cold Blooded. On the set of Cold Blooded, I brought a friend of mine that I worked with, who was going to the University of Memphis, and he was in their film school.
Okay.
And he had never actually ever seen an actual set before.
Right.
So I invited him on Cold Blooded, and I said, you are welcome to move around. You're welcome to take pictures or ask questions or anything like that. Nobody here is going to, say anything bad to you about it. And I think it's important for up-and-coming filmmakers to be able to experience something like that, because they actually get to see what it is that goes on behind the camera the right way.
I also think as filmmakers, we kind of owe it to do something like that to our community, because we ask this community to support us.
And
We want to make films and have our community come out and watch them and enjoy them. That's asking a lot. We should give something back.
That should be also be done, JB, on. I went to practically every acting classes here in Memphis, and the same thing needs to be done with some actors. That they do good at acting classes, but however, we've all here sitting here have been on film sets to where, as an actor, me and Daniel may really be good in a scene, and we're really into that scene, but the director has to cut that scene because something technically happened. It wasn't something that happened between Daniel and I. It was something technical happened. And then now Daniel and I, once the director's ready now to reshoot this, we have to get right back to that same energy level where we were at when he cut.
Which you and I can do.
Yeah.
But not everybody can.
Well,
Not
Right.
everybody can.
a first or second
Not
time
everybody
actor
knows they need to.
that's never been on a set, sometimes it could really, it blows their concentration so hard that they cannot get back to there because it's never happened to them.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's like to be right in the middle of the scene. The director goes, God dang it, cut, because the boom mic got in the frame.
Well,
You know?
I've told Alex, one of our producers on this show, I've worked with him as a coach. We've worked with him in the group class as a coach. He came to me one day and he started talking about something. I said, you know what? Go to this man. Go to Daniel's class because he has a different approach. He can give you a little more of what you're looking for in this direction and at this time than I can. And he will open up different doors. And then maybe we will find a different path in our group classes. And that's exactly what he did. And he's discovered a few things about himself that I knew that he would see in him.
I just wish that more of the acting instructors in Memphis, that, now yes, there's some that, I don't know if any of them, Daniel may know, I don't know if any of them that's actually teaching now strictly for stage.
No,
None
none
of
I'm
them
aware
are.
of.
You know?
No, there are.
There are still ones doing
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stage?
but they're mostly, they're either with, there's classes you can take through Theater Memphis. Through,
Okay, so they're affiliated with
yeah,
it.
or they're the
Ah,
University of
gotcha.
Memphis.
But there's not a
like
private stage teacher.
Yeah, like there's a couple of great teachers at the University of Memphis in the theater department, but none of them are related to film. And as Dorv and I have discussed, because Dorv and I both started doing stage work when we were young. I did stage work for 20 years before I ever did film or television. And I truly believe that an actor should do stage work as much as he or she possibly can, because it teaches them how to find the character
Yes.
It
in a way
teaches
that
them.
you don't have time to typically, except the way I and
Especially
some
on this level.
yeah, this level, to learn your, but see, that's only part one of the problem in this area. Part two is that the majority of directors are not very good at working with actors.
Yeah, then that's where I think that
They need
If
to
you
take,
see-
they need to take an acting class for directors.
I also think some of the directors would be better off if they put themselves in front of a camera and kind of understood where the actor would be coming from.
That's
I
part of,
can-
that's,
I
It
can
helps
man,
testify
I'd
that.
love to. I'll direct that. If you can line that up, I'll direct that. Okay?
Well, I can speak to that.
Get all the directors in front of the camera.
Yeah, I'd like
for
to
you.
direct that
I
myself.
can speak to that because I always said that I'd never be in front of the camera. That's just not somewhere that I'd ever felt comfortable with.
Gotcha.
And, being that support that we have between being a team, he's like, no, you need to be in front of the camera. You need to know what your actors are experiencing firsthand.
you got up in one of my classes.
I did get up in one of your classes. I have been on camera a couple of times since that. Nothing really, really large, but it does change your perception of what you're telling other people to do for you on your projects.
Nothing helps you communicate with another person about anything on any level, no matter who it is, like having a better understanding of where they're coming from.
The experience of doing it.
It's a necessary element. I mean, the first thing you do when two strangers from two different worlds or cultures meet is find the common ground, because you have to find something common to start with.
Well,
And having that experience with of what your actors will go through can only make you a better
That's
director.
exactly what I was going to say, because on the other side of it, as a director, you have a job to do. As an actor, you have a job to do, and you want to make that director happy with what you're doing. So you have those obstacles that you have to jump
As
across.
As
You
we've
know-
learned on our set, communication ultimately is an absolutely essential element of dealing with people, and you're not completely wrong. There's a lot of people in town that don't understand the proper way to communicate to everybody.
During
During a
actual filming on a set.
Because
No, you're absolutely.
there is a difference between having a conversation, me and Daniel sitting here having a conversation. It's very different than me directing Daniel in a scene, or Daniel directing me in a scene.
Exactly.
There's a
Yes,
different
there is.
agenda, there's a different objective, and there's a different relationship in that moment that we have to take into account. How we
And if
communicate.
you're getting crap behind you while you're trying to do what you're doing, what the director's trying to do with the actors, and as DP, it's a problem.
Exactly.
And it happens a lot here.
And a lot of it also is, I've seen and experienced with young filmmakers is they have a beautiful artistic and technical eye about what they want to do. They do. However, they don't have the experience working with the actor. So when they do have to work with the actor, they don't really know where to go. They
Well, I-
really don't know what to say to the actor that, hey, I want this, or you're giving me a little bit, but
It's
take
almost
more
like
rope.
they're going to step on your toes and
Yeah,
offend
instead
you.
of saying, okay, Dorv, I like what you're doing, but I really want you to take a little bit more over the top.
I'm not going to
To
call
an
anybody
experience.
out by name, but a perfect example, I was at Forrest's class one day and he had a guest director in.
Mhm.
And I believe that this young director was working on his first project.
Gotcha.
I don't think it was Mumblecore completely. I think he had an outline, but I think it was going to play the fence of Mumblecore.
Okay.
And the idea was that Forrest turned the class over to him, said, put your students on stage, run them through your scenes, direct them, do what you want. He put a couple people on stage, gave them their little pieces of paper. They did the scene. He said, okay, next. Let them go up. Okay, next. He never interjected any input, good, bad, or otherwise. And I sat back and I watched for a few minutes and I stopped and I walked over to him and I said, look, I'm not trying to tell you how to do anything, but you might want to actually communicate to your actors where their strengths are or what you're liking in the moment so that you can see
what you want.
so that you can see your scene actually become something of substance,
Right.
to where there's some sort of conflict, to where there might be some sort of subtext or something of interest for a viewer, or in this case a listener in a live audience situation, to actually cling on to. Because right now they're nothing more than two people acting as talking heads.
I had
They
a-
weren't even bringing gesture
I
at
had a
that point because
director-
the actors were waiting for the director.
I
But all he said was, okay, next.
had a director that came to one of the classes also. He watched me and another actor do a scene. He liked what we'd done with the scene. Then all he did, this is the only direction he gave us. He stood up and he said, all I want you to do, I want you to do the same scene over, but I want you to do it as fast as you can. And I mean, we zipped through this thing, just blah, 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 blah. When it got through, and he cast me in his film, he said, I already had you cast because I like what you wanted, like what you've done already. I like what I saw. I wanted to see if you could take direction.
See, that's actually
And that's all it
involving
was.
himself.
Could you take direction? By doing it why I told you to do it.
But at least there was some sort of investment.
Exactly.
As an actor, I don't want to get up on stage in front of a director, read the scene for him, and have him go, okay, next. First of all, I feel like I just screwed up bad. If he can't even make a comment, it must have been awful.
Well, now,
But it was
Daniel
so
will tell you that
monotone.
when you go to a major big cattle calls, that's all you're going to get. They're going to say, thank you very much, goodbye.
That's the
They're
audition.
running-
That's the audition process.
That's the audition process. I'm talking about actually working with a director. If the director doesn't express personality and involvement in his own project,
Yeah, if he
in a
doesn't give you
scene,
any kind of thing to work with.
to give
then-
you something, it feels flat. And I feel like maybe this isn't where I should be investing whatever talent I may or may not have.
Right.
I want to work with someone that'll at least challenge me or give me something that I can work with as far as what they want to work towards. You know, a lot of people have trouble working with Mike McCarthy because he's very up there and out. And he is. He's crazy to work with. But I love Mike to death. And I was able to get on Cigarette Girl I knew kind of where he was going. He allowed me to build a character, and I delivered. He didn't have to give me much direction. But in those certain scenes where I'd go one way, he'd say, no, I want you to go this way. So I at least knew there needed to be a change.
There were parameters.
That's the
Yeah.
word, thank you. He had parameters for the character that he wanted me to fill in. And I was able to understand that on the front end. And then on the set, it was just working out what direction to bend them.
And then, I'm sorry.
Well, you're all filmmakers. We're all filmmakers here. I mean, I've been here 8 years, and I've been dealing with film 4 of those years. What is the answer to that issue?
That's a good question.
I mean, yeah. I've worked with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 directors here now, and I've been on a number of sets and have watched a lot of directors. I've done it myself, acting and directed and written here and produced, and it's difficult to say things here, I have found, and so what is the answer to because there's 2 issues. First of all, the writing issue, number 1. Number 2, how do you get directors to understand that they need to learn how to work with actors? What's the answer here?
Well, the answer is the director needs to be just as, in my opinion, the director needs to be open to the fact that he has to direct his actors. If he's wanting to make a film in this town, you can't just let the actors do what they want to do all the time. A director has a vision.
Right.
Or should.
Or should have a vision.
On how he wants the story told.
To be played out.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just sit there and not tell your actors. Number one, a lot of things that I see that I've changed my ways about is I want to work with my actors before I just get to a set and go.
Preparation.
There you go. A lot of things that happen that I've seen, there's no pre-production.
No, you're absolutely right.
You can't do a day's worth of pre-production and then go film.
No, you can't not film properly.
No. And then there's no table reads.
There's more of that now than there used to be.
They're starting.
There's more
I
of that
noticed
coming
in the
in now.
last 2 to 3 years, the visual quality of local films is starting to come up, and it's not just the cameras. People are starting to learn a little bit about blocking their shots. Some.
Pacing shots.
Yeah, there's some pacing happening. I've noticed a lot more people are more aware of sound,
Yes.
and I've noticed that people are, with ranging levels of success, people are actually making use of light. They're actually bringing lights to sets now. Whether they're using them right all the time is one thing.
But that's still, even Jamie's answer didn't answer the question.
No.
That's what directors should be doing. But if they don't know how to do it, and most of them, and the ones that I'm
Maybe-
talking about don't, what is the answer to getting them to that point?
At one point, there was talk of having some sort of director's class.
I talked about it.
You've
Among
talked
other
about
people,
it. We've
yeah.
talked about
You
it.
know,
Forrest
if
has
you
talked
don't have
about it.
even if you don't have a separate class, maybe what would help is just inviting directors to come to your acting class and just observe.
That
Just
was
let them just
another
come
thing.
and observe. Say, look, you're welcome to come to my acting class anytime, and you can sit right back over there and you can observe. And at any point, you can discuss something with me. We'll try to bring you into discussion of the class. Or if you don't want to participate, you just want to observe.
I've thought about doing that.
You know, and maybe that would help, because like I've seen it. That's why I took over producing some of the films that I've done.
Right.
Is because some of the filmmakers have a great artistic eye, but they don't have the logistics. They're lost. in
Well,
that.
see-
So it was like,
Well,
let me
that's a
have
whole
that.
nother, that's a whole nother ballgame.
One of the things we're doing is we make a project, we look at what we've made, we think, how can we be better next time? That has taken us down a path to where Jamie got so much better than what I expected he was going to be doing for Nature of the Beast,
Mhm.
that we've now rewritten that script once. We're about to start rewriting it again because we're looking at a whole nother level of
Right.
interest now. We've brought Daniel in on it to help us iron out story and figure out what production is necessary, and hopefully he will be staying with us as we go further into production. We are at every step trying to learn and do something better, more professionally than we did the last time.
I hope that
Daniel has a wealth of experience and knowledge that we don't have. So we reached out to him and asked him to bring that to us and really put us through our paces. Our egos are set aside. We want a good project. He has, don't let me misquote, 40 years experience?
In film? In film, I actually have 25.
25 years?
Yeah.
25 years of experience reading professionally written scripts.
Mhm.
As writers and filmmakers, I'd be an idiot not to have someone come and show me that. Can you show me 25 years of experience? Where else can I get that? He has that. That is why he's sitting with us in the Nature of the Beast camp right now, helping us make that a better project. And I guarantee you, when he is done with what he is doing on this project, we will have a project that we would not have had we done this without him. And I truly believe that. And I think people out there that, and I'm sorry to go on a tangent, but I think the people out there that have turned their back on Daniel
Oh my God, I can't believe you're saying that.
are making a mistake. I've known you 8 years. I know who you are. I know what's inside of you, and I love you like a brother. And I think it's ridiculous that people ignore what he can bring to them. They mistake a passion that he might have for an ego. And I'm here to tell you, I've known him 8 years. I've never had to fight his ego. I've fought him on other things, but I've never had to fight his ego. That's why I'm willing to sit with him, and that's why I'm willing to take everything he will have to say to us. And he's had plenty already that has
Well,
benefited.
that's another thing that I wasn't, that I didn't touch on a while ago. As filmmakers here in this town, we need to let loose of some of the bullshit. We need to let loose of some of the he said, she said bullshit.
We are all,
Because-
and I'm not
I
excluding
guess this
us.
is not a family show.
I'm not excluding
No, it's
us
not a family show
necessarily.
All right.
necessarily.
All of us
I
in
said
this
dang it
town
earlier.
are walled in some way. It's our human nature to build walls around ourselves on some level, and we all do it personally, professionally, socially.
You build a comfort level and
emotionally.
you want to
It
stay
all,
there.
we all do that. But in order to succeed, in order to truly raise Memphis and the Mid-South region's quality of film, that has all got to come down. We have all got to graduate high school and move forward and really step up to the plate. We all need to learn to look at our projects as business.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That's-
not just art. We all want to make art and want to make fun films, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to stop that.
Mhm.
But I also don't want to be homeless and penniless while I make pretty pictures. We have to see this as a business. This is a way of supporting ourselves if we do it right. This is a way of bringing money to our city, to our community, if we do it right. But we can't have only one of us in town doing it right.
Well,
We all have to be willing to step
It's
in
one
and work with each other.
I'm not the only one in town who knows. There are several other people.
No,
that
I'm
do.
not trying to imply that you do.
There's
Craig
some
Brewer's
there are a
in
few
town.
good people in town, but
There's a lot of
they're
good
mainly
people.
involved in their own projects, and we know who they are.
Yeah, and there are a lot of good people, and a lot of them are even willing to offer out.
Sure.
You know, Craig Brewer has always been available to
Right.
me.
With
you
what's
know,
going
anytime
on
he
right
can.
now, we as filmmakers are going to have to try to unite in this city because Hollywood is not going to come to us.
No,
So
in
we've
fact,
got to do something that we can take to them.
there is actually an active, almost anti-Memphis
You know,
perspective outside of this city for film.
Really?
In some circles, I know.
I wasn't aware of that.
At one point, Molly Benson had said to us
Yeah.
that she herself wasn't sure she'd come back here because she just wasn't seeing
Because everything that
consistently
she's seen
a level of
was
professionalism that she would want to see.
I could see that.
And
She
people-
could see that.
I was at one of her first classes, and she liked me. I wasn't part of it, but she liked me because she understood where I was coming from. People here were kind of. I actually had people tell me that she was rude and nasty, and I said.
Well, she can be.
And I said to them, because I've taught in LA and New York, and I said, I want to tell you folks that it is different there. It's more expensive, and the people that are there, they move there precisely to forward their careers.
Mhm.
And they're there to do whatever it takes to get ahead in their career. And when you take classes with a teacher there, they're very, very, very much tougher. They don't have time because good classes, I had people lined up to take my class. And I auditioned. How it works, so you audition people to get in the class, and if you're there at 7 o'clock for your class, and and you're prepared, fine. If you're not, the door's locked, whether you paid or not, the class moves forward. And if you're not prepared, the teacher may not read you for 3 weeks. because there are people in line behind you that want your spot because they're ambitious, they want to do it.
And they are prepared.
So it depends on the level of commitment that people have here as to how they as to how they move forward with their career. Like Christian Walker, he was here earlier today.
Yeah.
One of our friends and a very good Memphis actor. He said, "You know what? The hell with this. I got to leave Memphis because I've got to go." He moved to New Orleans because he thinks he has and he does have a better shot of getting paying work. Right.
And that's, I mean,
And
up
what-
until recently, that's been very true. And even recently, it's only true if you cross into Mississippi now.
Right, because they have better
HBO was their incentives.
their tax incentives, their film tax incentives.
But going back to the actors, you're right. Almost none of them in this town are even aware that in LA they have to audition for their class.
For the good classes, the ones that, okay, here's how it happens. You get in a good class. Producers, agents, casting people, they're in touch with all the good teachers because they're always looking for the next new talent, the next new face, right?
Yep.
Okay? And I had casting directors, producers call me. You got this and this available? And I said, well, here's what I got. I'll send them. I'll send them on a go see to you. For the better classes, that's one reason the actors want to get in those classes. Not only because they learn, but because the teachers
Well, the
are a
avenues
are a direct connection to casting people for new people. Because there's a couple of 100,000 non-union and another 100,000 union actors in LA trying to get work.
Get the same part you're after.
So I mean,
Well,
so you're using every avenue available to you if you're ambitious.
Another thing I've told some of our local actors that have talked about the LA potential is learn your type. Because 90% of us in Memphis, if we go out to LA, we'll never get work. There's 100,000 others just like us. I would never get a job in LA acting unless I knew.
I actually
connections.
disagree with that. I think I've had this conversation with Dorv. I think you two actually are such an interesting type that you would get work. I've told him this already. He doesn't buy it, but believe me, I lived out there. I know what they're looking for, and you are sufficiently different that you would get certain type of roles. I believe that.
Certain types, maybe, like Patrick Cox.
Well,
also
I mean, you got.
Right.
I mean,
and what say like Patrick
But-
knows that okay, he can play the heavy.
But right now, what seems to be hot in actual Hollywood, based on what you're seeing on TV in the last 2 years and in film, is redheads, Asians, and Indians. Those are the ones that are getting
East
hired.
Indians?
East Indians. Those are the ones getting work right now.
Wow.
Look at most of your TV shows that are new have one, the other, or the combination.
I haven't watched anything on network television the last 2 or 3 years, so I don't.
Well,
honestly don't have a
I
clue.
watch to pay attention to what's going on
That's
as far
a
as
good
that
idea.
kind of trend,
Yeah.
because you do see cyclically types, and it was right after Lost. Daniel Day Kim. It was right after the success of Lost with Daniel Day Kim, and Battlestar Galactica with Maggie.
I know who you're talking
They're
about.
both on Hawaii Five-O.
Yeah, right.
The two of them really exploded the Asian actor market.
Well, see, that's a reflection, and here's something that's changing. This is what filmmakers and screenwriters need to be aware of. Writing for your audience. They don't teach you that except in school. They do. What is your audience? Okay? Learn who your audience is, and most of the people I see here, they're young, they're white, and they're coming out of college, and they're writing about their experience from 18 to 25. Okay, that's great. That's great. Same with young black filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And the same actually is same Latino filmmakers. The difference is that Latinos have a Spanish whole thing.
So-
the American film industry is not quite sure yet what to do with
Yeah.
the Latinos because they can cross over. Okay, all right. So it's they're not but you learn what your audience is, write for it. But the face of America is changing. In 25 years, 30 years, we're going to have people of color are going to be in the majority. White people will not be in the majority anymore.
Right.
That's going to change a lot of things, especially in the film industry and with the music we listen to. There's lots of things that are going to change because of it. I personally think it's fine, but
Yeah, it's progress. I don't think it's
yeah,
a good
yeah,
or a
but
bad.
I
It's
said,
the
but you
building
need
of
if
a
you're
real
writing
culture.
something, you need to be aware what your market is that you're writing
Well,
for.
it-
You know what for Nature of the
I was going to
Beast.
say, it's what we're doing right now. with
Exactly.
Nature of
You
the
know
Beast.
the markets you're exactly hitting, which is going to define how we do distribution, et cetera, et cetera.
But
And
just,
not a lot of writers do that. They don't take that into
well,
consideration.
and that's what I was going to, is the directors in town, and I say directors because most of the directors active
Right,
in town
they-
write their own
Pretty
material.
much, yeah.
Which again, I think is not always a good thing. I think it's a good challenge to a director to
can't
work
write,
with
it's
somebody
not.
else's. I think even if you're good, I think as a director, it's a good challenge. Because if you do want to go get Hollywood jobs, you're probably going to be working a script someone else wrote. You're probably not be working your own script 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, that's,
Craig did, but he's also done TV pilots where he didn't write the script. And I think it's a good idea to work someone else's vision.
I agree with you, sure.
I think it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
But right now, let's just say directors. In town, I think most of them write their own material. I think that it's a very important thing that they look at what you're talking about, the distribution, the audience potential that they might have. Most of us don't. We come up with an idea, and I did this for a long time. Come up with an idea, like that idea, build that idea out, write the script. In my case, rewrite the script 10 or 11 more times, usually.
Don't feel like the lone stranger. All of us do.
Not all of us
They
do.
shouldn't call
More
us
of
writers.
should.
They should call us rewriters. So.
Yeah. But after I get the script where I want it, I go film it. I wouldn't consider, what am I doing with this afterwards? Don't think at that level, here. There's not really enough money to think I'm going to try to go into this or that or the other. I don't have money for $1 billion festivals and things like that. But sitting down and looking at nature of the beast the way we are now, having spent how many weeks now going over the whole business side of what film is?
It's been more than weeks.
Yeah, it really has, like the last 6 months.
Yeah.
That we've been doing research on what it is to have film as a business, not as a creative outlet. There's all kinds of things that have changed in the way I write something now.
Mm-hmm.
I showed you a sneak peek on something I'm doing now. That is a very extended version of what I used to do. I used to write it out on a card real quick and then convert that to paper. Now I'm blocking it out, I'm moving, I'm doing the whole process of
Scene
on a
structure.
board, scene structuring out on the board.
There's a way to do it.
Because I am seeing the way structure can flow, the way you can manipulate an audience differently than what I'm used to doing with what I wrote previously. Because what I wrote previously is based more in exposition,
Right.
Novelization style writing,
Which
where
is not film.
it doesn't work in film at all the same way. Now, I watched enough stuff and I had enough good influence from Twilight Zone, Hitchcock, and I have my own sensibilities that in the case of Morning Ritual, I pulled it off. But there's a reason I haven't really tried to step out swinging like that again since then, and that is, I know how much I have to learn still. And going over the distribution, going over the audience, that is clarifying so much for me as far as strategy in the business aspect of a film. And I think that is something we all in this town absolutely got to get
I think
to.
a lot of things in this town, I know Daniel's probably experienced this also from an actor's side and a producer's side. You get a filmmaker that, yes, he's wrote his stuff, he wants to do it, and he's so sold on the words that he's written that you can't convince him that, no, that scene ain't working, or especially if you get into editing, it's like, man, that don't work, or you don't even need that. It's not even doing anything to help carry the story. You can knock that whole scene out. And man, to try to get them to do that is like trying to pull teeth.
Let's go ahead and take a quick break.
Sure.
And get back to this, because I do think that you're onto something there, very much.
We've had this discussion.
And I think that having writers / directors actually hear their own material, which table reads. We'll be right back after this, and we'll get back onto that.
Dig! I said dig! The picturesque hamlet of Bolton, Connecticut. Your typical New England town. However, under its beauty is a tragic history. Meet young filmmaker Pierce Lindell, born and raised. Perhaps you know Pierce's grandfather, the former trooper of the town and the beloved public figure. Pierce's friends have just helped him make a movie. And it premieres tonight. Not everyone is happy about it. This could be the best night of Pierce's life. Had he only known. I filmed your death. A portrait of today's youth. Always looking for an escape. Always looking for a distraction. Always, I filmed your death! Outside the public access channel, a popular television show personality makes a disturbing discovery when he finds that I filmed your death. Two intoxicated youths take it to the next level. But when the lights go off, I filmed your death. All of these deaths plus yours, I filmed your death. I filmed your death. Not everyone wants to be in a movie.
All right, we're back, and we took a short break there. We took a look at the I Filmed Your Death trailer, and also a brief look at the Avarice film, which I believe has been accepted at the Hot Springs Horror Film Fest, which is
It's actually
kicking off yesterday, I
Yes.
believe.
All right.
Yeah, it was actually playing today, I
I was
believe.
going to say, I think today was its screen date, so good luck to Dan Baker and to
Rachel.
You go, Dan.
We
Rachel.
really hope that they bring home the prize on
That's
that one,
little
because
Haley
that's
Parker
a
too, right?
phenomenal little-
Yes, that does
Well,
have
Haley's
Haley
in
Parker.
there.
Have you actually seen the film?
No, I haven't, but
I highly recommend
have to see it.
I've worked with Haley.
So
One
have
of
I.
the best things I've seen come out of this city in a
I want to tell all
long
actors
time.
that are watching, if you work with a little girl named Haley Parker, bring your A game.
Or CJ
Because
Parker.
she is.
CJ's good too.
CJ Parker.
I haven't had the opportunity to work with her, but Haley.
As an actress,
you-
CJ's even tighter than Haley, I think.
You better be on your A game, because that little girl is. I'm
What
telling you
I
that right
admire
now.
about Haley is that she's everything. She can write, she can direct, she can shoot, she can edit.
What I like about Haley is at 12 years old, she was more prepared than most actors I've ever seen in
That
this
was
town.
the other thing. Is she's probably the
prepared when
most
she showed
prepared
up.
actress I've ever seen. In
You know,
the
this
city.
is another thing that just blows me away about here. How many sets have you all been on where actors come on the set, they don't know their lines, they're not prepared?
We were just talking about that off camera.
I just don't. I mean, you know, maybe I'm a schlub. I don't know. Maybe I'm this New York guy people don't like my attitude about this or whatever, but the fact of the matter is, you can't do that in a
Whether
SAG
that's
film.
whether
They'll
it's
fire
because
you.
you're from New York or not yet, or not isn't really relevant. What it comes down to, and what we were talking about before we went on the break. Directors, writers are writing material. They're giving it to actors, and then they're going and filming it. Not enough of them are really taking time to hear their work
Exactly.
so that they can make those subtle changes, especially in creating voice, as we were discussing this
Each
afternoon.
character having
Each
his own
character having a distinct
distinct voice.
voice in how they're presented and therefore how they're
I'm not
received
talking
by
about
an
what
audience.
comes on the texture voice. I'm talking about how you present the character. Each
Exactly.
character has a different voice, you
Character
know.
breadth.
A way of speaking, a
Presentation.
vocabulary choice.
Something
Whatever
that
it is,
delineates you, that
it's
makes
a
you different
separate
from the other
quality.
characters.
That
Exactly.
separates each character.
Many first-time writers and inexperienced writers, that's one of the biggest problems they have, is all their characters sound alike.
And if they would take the time to actually go into classes or writing groups or even peer groups and actually get it read out loud,
Exactly.
they could hear a lot of that themselves. As a writer, if you're going to be a writer, you have to be willing to recognize you will fail miserably often, because all of us do. You have to, in order to learn and to grow. So be willing to take criticism for what it is and work with it.
I have an actress who's been coming to my class now for the last couple of months. Her name is Ashley. She's 24. She's a very nice young actress. She's going to get better. She has aspirations of writing. So she wrote a scene and called me up and said, I wrote this scene and I'd like to kind of see, could you read it for me and see where I can improve and help me with it? I said, well, better yet, why don't you come to when you bring it to class, and we'll have our actors
Perform.
perform it. So because a lot, I mean, you know, I've been writing
Giving it
a long
to
time
another
about
writer
every
is a
time I
wonderful
hear,
thing.
yeah, for me the most important table reading is the first one. When I hear my actors do it for Kid Diamond, you know, I realize, you know, it's great to hear the actors do, because you say, you know what, wow, you know, that it sounded better in my head. Yeah, it sounded better in my head.
A lot of things often do.
They often do than when the actors did it, so I go and change things. And I don't have the ego about it.
You
I-
can't.
You can. You have to drop it, you know. And one of the things that I've told you that I do, anyway, she brought her thing into class, we read it. Now we reworked, she came over actually yesterday. We reworked it, and now we're going to do it again in class Tuesday. And it's much better. And it's a fully realized scene now, and now the actors were part of that process as well, because they gave input.
Sure.
And it was a nice ensemble kind of feeling, and it was great to work that way.
So,
Okay.
But you're looking at the average being a script that hasn't been worked for rewriting purposes, being given to actors that aren't preparing it, and taking that combination to the first day of a shoot.
That's right. That's a lot of ways it's done.
But how can you really end up with the best possible product when you can easily read it out loud, touch up the writing, give it to an actor or actress that will take it serious enough to learn their lines, prep a character, attend table reads, work the scenes, work with the other actors, work with the director.
Well, that's just.
and come in prepared.
But
on
that's
a
what
set.
that's what doesn't happen here,
I
though.
think that's one
Now,
of they're so interested. I want to shoot film. Want to shoot film. Want to shoot film. Not
So many people are just
preparing.
happy to be a part of something.
Not preparing by saying, okay, I have my script. First thing I need to do is let's read my script. Most of them usually have some actors already in mind for a couple of their parts. So bring those people in. Let them read those parts.
I think in a roundabout way, you just answered Daniel's question. How do we get directors to know they need to communicate with actors? We make better actors. How do we make better actors? We make better directors. It's a circle.
It is.
But if you have
It
good-
can work that way if
You
everybody
are an
is willing.
experienced actor. Are you going to work with a director that just gives you nothing?
I have.
You have. But if
And
you-
not just here.
No, I was going to say. it
Not
doesn't-
just
it
here.
doesn't happen
Even
just
in
here.
Hollywood, I
But-
worked some films where the director, when you said, well, and I looked at him and said, well, how was that? And I get a blank stare.
If the director said to you, I wrote this last night, I had this idea the other day when I was on the toilet, and I wrote it last night, and I want you to do it, I think it's ready to go.
And we're gonna film it on Saturday.
We're going to film it Saturday. I bought a camera, and it has, it's got the microphone. I mean, there's so many problems right there. You're not going to jump into that.
No.
You, as an experienced actor, are going to look for the most prepared possible opportunities.
Unfortunately,
When you did Corduroy Wednesday's film, The Conversion, a number of
Yes.
years ago,
that's where I met you.
where we met, actually, correct.
When we
You-
both had long hair.
You actually knew to some degree that they were prepared to shoot. They knew what they were doing on some level.
Actually, I did not.
Really?
No, because I had not worked.
I thought you had researched them.
No. I mean, I had heard from somebody else that, and I called Edward because I heard he was looking for somebody, so I called him out of the blue. He didn't know I was. He was really the first filmmaker I met in town because I was still, at that end, I was still at the tail end of my high-tech career because I left film and went into high-tech as it related to entertainment. So no, I knew very little about anybody in this town.
Okay.
So I figured, let me take a shot.
So you got kind of lucky that time.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was actually a smooth shoot
for
what it was.
Yes,
It was a small shoot.
Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I think I met him when he did. He brought me on after I did the one with the guys that come in to scrub a place up after the murder scene.
Yes.
Crime scene cleaners.
Yeah, crime scene. What was it called? He did it, and 3 or 4 years later, Hollywood did it, which is hilarious. He had the idea before anybody in Hollywood did.
That's not much of a surprise.
No, what was it called? I mean, it was. Anybody remember his? That was. It was
I don't remember.
I actually auditioned for him at the University of Memphis for it, and he cast me in the role, in that role, and that's where I met some. And then he brought me on because of that to the
But
conversion.
as coaches, as acting coaches, if and you have 25 years of experience with film, we're active filmmakers in a small
Not as a
community.
teacher. Not as a teacher.
No, but you have experience as an actor, and we have experience as filmmakers on this level that we bring into our classrooms, and they're very different textures, they're very different things.
Y'all can come on
But-
through.
Yeah, do what you got to do. But if we can make better actors
Just
in
smile
our
for the
class, those actors are going to go out looking for directors that are more prepared. If the directors are seeing actors don't want to work with them because they're not prepared, those directors are going to rethink.
Unfortunately,
what
here
they're
that's
doing.
and that makes. I mean, that makes perfect sense. But unfortunately, that still isn't how it works here. I mean, I have some actors in my class and other classes I've seen. They don't care. They want to just get film experience, and most of the film experience they have here, a lot of it is.
Well, Darius, Darius will say yes to just
Darius
about anything
Newsom.
film. I love Darius. He's got a great attitude. He wants to be
Actually,
out
no.
there.
Actually, he won't.
But I noticed he used to. I'm sorry, but I
Not
noticed
anymore. He doesn't.
with Dark Dance, which isn't a classic by any means, he did ask you, should he do this? And you gave him an answer based on what is his ultimate goal, where is the direction he
How
wants
did
to
you know
do.
that?
Because Darius and I talk.
Oh, okay. I thought that.
Darius is a good
I almost forgot about that till you brought it
I
up.
love Darius. I
Yeah.
think Darius
Darius
is
is
one of our
great.
finest in the area as far as an actor. I met
He's
Darius
since
by
he's been
doing
working with me.
these-
He's very. I must say he's improved great. He's ready.
I met
He's
him
ready. He's
on
ready for the
set.
next level.
Absolutely. I met him on set in Applicants. What year was that? 08, 07? 08? 10? I don't know. It all blends, like I said earlier.
We're talking to Kent.
But I met him in a scene. He was over there doing his thing. I was doing my scene. And then we had a scene together. So Forrest called cut, set up for the next scene. And now Darius and I are in a scene together. And he walked up, and there's this moment where his character's supposed to challenge me a little bit. And he got right up in my face and delivered, and he'd never met me. And I was so impressed that he had no problem stepping into my personal space bubble as an actor. That is something that's so difficult for so many people. They really don't like that space bubble violated.
You ain't kidding.
And he very naturally and rightly in the scene stepped right up to me and challenged me. And it was one of the easiest scenes I'd ever filmed. It just, all of a sudden we were together on a page. and it was a great feeling. And I think Darius is very capable of bringing that to projects.
Absolutely.
I did a scene with him just like that, where it was very intense.
I really like working with
him. We were right here on each other, and it was a pleasure to work with him.
Yeah.
And I told him after the scene, I said, man, it's one of the most intense scenes I've ever done. And I'm glad that I'm glad I had you there, because you were on that same level. We were on the same page, so it made the scene work.
Well, I love, and I've noticed from working with him on Applicants to working with him on Dark Dance recently, there's been this growth in him from working with you,
Yeah.
where he not
But
only...
he's doing the work.
Yes.
When he
and
leaves
it
my
shows.
class, he's doing the work.
He came in and he did a character where, you know, I'm a professor and he's working for a mob type, and he has to kind of question me
Right.
on what I've screwed up and where the boss's money is. And he not only was willing to violate my personal bubble, but he walked in and shoved me down into a chair. And boy, it put me in the scene in a heartbeat. Because if I was anywhere near the edge of that scene, he threw me right into the heart of it with that one subtle move.
Yeah.
He has really learned to find his moments in scenes.
And that was, to use him as an example, that was difficult for him because he is from the South. You all have a different...
He's so polite.
Yes, yeah, you all have a different sensibility down here. You don't like people in your space, not like New York where you're jostling with people, you're stuck on subways and walking out sideways, sidewalks
down
and
the
whatnot.
street like
Here
that.
you have space, and so you want to keep your space. But sometimes, remember, you have a limited amount of space in a scene, in a shot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make the best use of that space, depending on what the frame is on the camera.
Well, not only that, the psychology of certain... the effect,
It'll force a reaction.
The psychological effect of something with
Yeah.
the reaction you will get from an audience when someone busts that bubble, where someone challenges someone on that level.
Ask him about the improv we did, where I literally slammed him against the wall to get him out of his comfort zone, and he was ready to get into a fight until he realized what was going on, but it woke him up.
It's so hard for me to picture Darius violent. I mean, I'm sure like anyone it's there, but he has always
I guess
been
I drive a lot of
so
people to violence.
genteel.
What can I say?
No, it's acting, y'all. It's acting.
It's acting.
Well,
Yes.
We've gone on a lot of tangents. We've definitely kind of, I won't say raked Memphis Film over the coals, because in no way do we mean offense to anyone. It really truly is a desire just to bring us all to a higher level, because there's
Truly.
there's a large amount of talent in this town.
There is.
I would like to
And-
say something right quick to actors out there, please. If you want to work
Look
in
at
this
the camera.
town, if you want to work in this town, and you want to get a lot of good work and work with good people, be on time. When you show up for set, find out where your holding place is. Don't wander around on the set. Find out where they want you to be held at and go there. And above all, know your lines. Please come prepared. Even if you only brought the character halfway, they could work with that if you know the lines. And you'll get a lot of work if you'll just do those things.
Words of wisdom from
Well
one of our
said.
local producers, Dorv Armour. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for that.
The Dorvalous one.
And again, like I said, we're not trying to be harsh on anybody.
No,
we
no.
just want all of us to have an opportunity to not just be talent, but to become nurtured talent, not untapped potential, which there's a massive quantity here.
The potential's here.
And we really could build a Hollywood South, if you will, out of the talent we have here, if it's all willing to come together and fight for it.
That's it. And we have to
Getting
we gotta
off
do-
of our tangents, bringing it back to your showcase.
Thank you.
You had a couple things that you wanted to make sure you got across,
Well,
and I also would like to make sure that we get one more time the critical information, the Facebook, the
Right,
emails,
right.
anything that
Okay.
people need specifically.
I'll let Daniel fill them all in on that. I will say, please, filmmakers, send us your films for the MidSouth Film Showcase. It's going to be held in February 2014. We will have more information coming on our webpage. I mean, are we going to get our webpage up this time?
Yeah, well,
or-
we're going to get the blog page up.
Okay, our blog page. Of course, all the information will be on the Facebook page, which Daniel will give you all that information in a moment. We want to make one further announcement that we're going to call the award statuette the Indie.
The Indies. So it's the
Indies.
Indie Award. The Indies.
For
It's gonna be an
independent
Indie. We don't know what it's
filmmaker.
going to look like yet. We're going to work with...
We're working on that
You
design.
know, it's funny. I almost asked earlier in the show what you'd have.
Well,
for
we
an
just
award.
came up with this late this week because we figured we had to call it something. We had a couple other names in mind. Then I threw this out, and he said, "You know what? I like that."
I like it. I like that.
And I like it too. And so we're going to call it the Indies, the Indie Awards.
And all I ask you to do is send films. Daniel?
Yes, we are going to have a blog page, and that should be done within a week. Our Facebook page is MidSouth Film Showcase. Facebook.com/MidSouth Film Showcase. We are also going to have an event page up sometime in December. I don't want to do it too early, but this is an entertainment page that'll give you information. On that page, you will see an area on the front page where you can download the MidSouth Filmmaker, or rather MidSouth Film Showcase entry form and submission guidelines document. It's 4 pages. It tells you about how we're going to do it, and the third page is the actual entry form itself. So download that so that you can have the entry form, and you're going to mail it. The mailing address is at the on the 4th page. It's all there. All the information is there. It tells you what kind of file format we need. All films are to be film shorts. They can either be narrative films or documentaries. Runtime 22 minutes or less. Also, we're looking for music videos. Okay, and that's going to be adjudicated separately. In-house, we're going to winnow down to 20 films and 6 music videos. Then we're going to have local dignitaries in the film, theater, acting, community, and media community as judges. They will be judging. We will not have anything to do with the judging. Nobody inside our staff will have anything to do with that part of the judging. We will not know until everybody else. Well, that's not true.
We'll know.
We'll know, but we won't say. And then we also there are 12 awards. We went through that earlier. You can, again, that information's actually it's 14, including 2 audience awards. And if you want to email us, you can email us at Daniel at MidSouth Film Showcase at Gmail. Dorv, we'll get emails there as well. All right. And we also have a Twitter page. It's at MS Film Showcase. At MS Film Showcase. That's right. MidSouth, no, at MS Film Showcase. And follow us on Twitter, please, because more information, more pictures are going to be coming that are going to help people. And we're going to push this in the Mid-South region.
Okay.
I want to give a quick shout out to Nora Childers for designing our logo, which is very cool. Thank you, Nora.
Thank you, Nora.
Okay, so the showcase deadline is January
2nd, 2014.
The event itself is
It'll be February 2014.
February 2014.
I don't have the dates sealed in stone yet, but as soon as I
It'll be
do,
late
locations
February.
are still
Just get it to us when you do finally
It
get
will
it, and
be.
we'll advertise it for
Yes.
us.
I highly suggest that any and all local filmmakers get films in this. I was a part of the showcase
Yes.
in 2008
That's where we're
that you
at.
did,
That's where
and
we're
I was going to say that that's how we had
That's how
met.
we met.
And I had a blast with it. I found it to be a really positive boost for me, and it really kind of gave me back the desire to be active again, because I had just
thank
come
you.
back from Oklahoma with having done nothing for over a year. And I know you personally as an actor, I know you as a man, I know you as a producer, and I know that what you want for this city and what you want for the filmmakers in this city is above board.
Thank you.
And I
appreciate
have a
that.
lot of respect for you for going through what it takes to put on something like this, because I know this is not an easy thing to put together.
But we're going to have fun.
Yeah, it's
We're
going to be
gonna
fun.
have
Oh, and by the way, as a reminder of everybody, it's going to be a red carpet black tie event.
Yes, it is. The
And we're going to have a big party afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Always
it'll
have a
be-
big party afterwards. Well, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us. Dorv Armour, Daniel Martine.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to have you come back out again.
Whenever, man. Thank y'all, Jamie and
Absolutely.
Lance. Thank you
Not a
for letting
problem.
us come on and
Absolutely.
and
I hope
expressing
that
to
it,
people our
it,
feelings.
it gets you at least one more person aware of it so that they can help spread the word further.
That's all it takes.
And
one person.
I really hope that this takes off, because I think ultimately this really can become something that will help the local filmmakers
That's
really
what
That's
grow,
what we're hoping
that's
for.
what the whole
grow
thing's about.
together as
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
That's the mission.
We're going to take a break here. We're going to take a look at a short video that was put together. This is the how is it pronounced? Suanya. Sorry. This is the Suanya performance that was recently put together by Marcus Kent Hansen. We'll be right back with Rachel Ehemann.
Last night, everything was fine.
No, everything has not been fine.
All right, welcome back. That was a short look at Suanya, Suanya, and Rachel Ehemann. That's your dance troupe, of course. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the main reason you're here, a little bit of background on you and how we all kind of came to know you. Some may know you played the lead character in the Nature of the Beast promotional trailer that Jamie has been building for his feature. And it took us several weeks to get all of the shots completed, and we're quickly seeing it come together now.
6 months.
6 months. We're seeing that come together now. Simultaneously, you've been building up the troupe, and you've got this show coming. So I want to know, with everything you had going on with us, first of all, where you found the time, because you're also
You also work, what, like
tattoo
3
artist,
jobs?
and then something else, and then something else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I stay busy.
Well, what I want to, before we touch on a whole lot of things, with you being a belly dancer and performing all the time, how was that different from when we approached you about coming on for the trailer? How was that experience different from what you do every day?
It was such a learning experience and a fun one. It's totally different. One of the main differences is that you've got cameras and lights and extras, and you're not on stage, but it's very much the same feel. But when you're dancing, you're not talking, you're not thinking about lines, you're not interacting in an acting mode with another dancer verbally. So that's how it's different.
No,
I'm interested in how that might have changed things for you.
That's what I was
because
just supposed to say.
Months before you met Jamie, we met at a one-on-one acting class. And you had come to me because you wanted to figure out different ways of making audience connection through your dance.
so
With expression and just the language of the face.
did what we accomplished with me and you and and Laz working together, do you think that bettered you as far as some of your dance performances and so forth?
Yes.
Has it changed it any?
Yeah, has it changed
yes,
it?
absolutely. Now I think about characters and facial expressions, and I'm not just up there moving. I'm more than that now, and I think it's really from working with you guys, definitely.
Now, with that said, Alice, you've got
You
next
have been
week-
working, it's actually next Saturday,
next Saturday night.
With 2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's what I was
October
gonna say.
October
2 weeks
12th.
from now, October 12th, at
It's at 1884 Lounge inside Minglewood Hall.
Minglewood. Okay. You will be doing now. What's the official name?
It's Alice, the Absinthe Dream.
The Absinthe Dream. Okay. Of
And
course,
you-
based on
Based on
Alice in
Alice in Wonderland. And I know that we've had several conversations, and talking and just hanging out with one another. We've had several conversations. You have been breaking your neck with this production. You have been really, really you've actually done what we had to do for our films. You're actually doing that now for Alice because
Like pre-production.
it's a pre-production kind of thing. And me and you sat down a couple weeks ago and we talked about a lot of it, and you are now seeing what it's like.
Yeah, I am.
Now, as you went into that, and you talk about seeing character differently, are you seeing each of your dancers and the characters they play having different language, essentially body movement, facial, all that different context?
Absolutely. Everybody that's in the cast, they know their characters. So the rabbit's very kind of timid, and she moves like that. And the queen, we all know the Red Queen.
Right.
She's very much a Red Queen on stage. So it's really cool. It's the cross connection between dance and acting is definitely there in this.
I'm very anxious to see what this
We are
becomes
too.
because I know, like I said, when we first met, you had that concern with really communicating and conveying that connection to your audience with more than just the dance. You wanted the face to really convey. And I know when we did Nature of the Beast, there was a lot of moments where Jamie got to you about, we need this expression, we need this tonality, we need this movement, we need this position. Much of which you're used to in dance, but it was so contextually different for you because it isn't move from pose to pose or position to position as much as hit a mark,
Yeah.
be in position, maintain a position,
And be somebody else.
and take that stance and come out of self. Whereas dance is more of a fluid expression of something inside often. So I'm curious to see how you have changed, because I've seen you dance twice, I think. Once a ways back, actually before I knew you, and I didn't even know who I was seeing, I just, belly dancers. And then after we did our class, I saw you, I guess 3 times now, because I saw you after at Sinister
With
as
Sinister,
well, that one event.
And
I'm curious to see, what character are you playing?
Alice.
You are playing Alice, excellent. I'm curious to see how you will bring in the experiences of acting that you had on sets.
Actually,
into
I've already
what you do here.
I've already seen it.
Oh, you've been.
I've already seen it. You know,
Uh-huh.
with just with the way that she was after she had started working with us a lot. I had seen her a couple of times before at Sinister, and her being with the troupe and everything like that, and seeing how the differences between the first couple of times I've seen you and the second and third time that I've seen you after we had started working together, you were a lot more attentive to the people watching you.
That's a good word, because I was going to say one of the things I really enjoyed about working with you on was the fact that it was obvious that you wanted to learn to do this, whatever he was asking you to do, the right way. You were very attentive
You had a
to what
passion.
he had
You
to say.
had a
and
passion
brought,
about it.
You brought a passion that we often don't see in it. You know, a lot of actors, they have a desire. They want to be out there, but through those months that we shot that, when you got to set, you showed something. You did want to bring it, as it were. And when Jamie spoke, you didn't just kind of, okay. You really did pay attention. You really listened. And each time cut, got direction, action again, it was obvious you were listening. And that's one of the key things we look for in an actor or an actress. We don't necessarily need the Oscar winner. We need the person we can work with, because we will make what we want with that person. And you really gave him a lot of yourself through that shoot.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
And-
I really commend you, because it isn't your forte.
Mhm.
That isn't your end goal. You're a dancer. You have a troupe. You have 3 jobs. You know, being an actress isn't on your list of things you want to achieve. But you embrace this opportunity because you recognize what it can do for your other work.
And that's going back to what I said, you know, what I was saying before. I noticed it after a couple of months of filming, and I even mentioned to you a couple of nights after the fact that you were a little bit more loose, that you were more connected with the audience, you were looking into the audience instead of looking above the audience. And I could see it in your facial expressions that you were more free and more fun. And not that you wasn't before,
Yeah.
but there was a connection between
yeah,
the
as I say,
dance and the
when a
audience.
different door opens,
Mhm.
Step in the
it
game.
does change things.
Yeah.
So,
I felt a difference, definitely, after working with you guys and going back to stage. I think I even picked songs that were a little bit more acting. You know, there was one song I did that kind of had like an evil laugh in the middle of it, and I remember kind of getting into that character in that moment, which is something I would have probably been more timid to do before working with you guys.
So would you act again?
Yeah.
Would you? It was.
Maybe you know, like an act, like stage acting or something.
More theatrical.
Yeah.
do you think that the experience you had with Jamie will be noticeable to the people that have been longer time Suanya fans?
Do you think they'll notice the difference?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I notice already the way just the production work seems to be looking from the Facebook page. It already looks like you've upped your game through the costuming, possibly through some set design work.
Oh yeah, we're doing all of that. And I've been learning hoop, the aerial hoop. So it's been another thing going on with all of this training, hard work. there.
You've actually, and you know, we're friends outside of everything that we do. We've sat and talked and everything, and I'm excited. I know Laz is excited, and we're going to be there filming that night. We have told a lot of people about it, and I have to say I'm very impressed with the passion that you have put into it, because like you said, you've been seeing the photos, we've been seeing the photos of everything, and I'm impressed. I think you've done a lot of hard work with it, and I'm proud of you, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm proud that we're going to be a part
I'm
of
really
it,
excited
be there.
to see it
Yeah,
personally.
Yes, I
happy
am.
to have you
But
guys.
let's actually tell our viewers what it is that they can expect to see, because not all of them really know what it is you do.
It's called Alice, the Absinthe Dream. It's a variety show based on Alice in Wonderland. Some of the acts will include belly dance, aerial acts, acrobats, modern dance, and just all kinds of things. Comedy, we have a great comedian coming in. So it's basically our take on Alice in Wonderland. We've got an absinthe twist to it, so it starts off with a big party, and we're all drinking absinthe, and we sort of pass out, and that's when Wonderland kicks in. So,
Similar to the original D.H. Lawrence idea.
So what else besides Alice, after Alice is done and over with and so forth? I know you've done a lot of things. You've been doing a lot of work with Sinister, and that's with Chris. For the people out there that don't know, that's Chris Randolph. He does Sinister every month or every other month at 1884. It's more of a goth night, club, dance kind of music. I've been there several times before. It's actually a fun time. But you've been doing that a lot. Are you going to continue doing that after Alice, or are you going to take some time off? Or
Oh, we'll definitely take some time off, but we will be back at Sinister, and I've got some other ideas in the works for later down the road. So we'll continue working, but we will definitely take a break.
How big a production has this been for you? How many actual people are involved in the production?
We've got 14 people, cast and crew. Really, altogether, it's about 20 people.
It's fairly sizable.
that's a large.
It is.
And start to finish, approximately, how long an event?
Start to finish, it's an hour and a half. The doors
Wow.
open at 8, and the show starts at 9. And then we take a little break for about 20-25 minutes, and then we go back on again. So it ends at 10:30. So it starts at 9 and ends at 10:30.
And what is the cover charge?
It's $15 for general admission and $25 for VIP. And
What's the VIP get you?
VIP gets you access to backstage to take photos and meet the cast and crew. It'll give you great seats, obviously. And it'll also give you, you've got goodie bags that are going to be on each of the tables.
Nice.
So, and
How
it's
many
table seating instead of row seating, so it's nicer.
Interesting.
How many
more
VIPs
comfortable.
do you have for that? Is it a limit? It's a limited number, I'm assuming.
We've got 42 seats for VIP, but we probably only have about 12 of those seats left.
Now, how much is the full count? How many people how many seats total?
Total, we've got, we can seat up to 150.
150 people, and you've reserved 42 of those as VIP, 12 of which are still available. $25 a head VIP? How can they get that?
You can go to our website, which is absinthealice.com, and you can also go to the Minglewood website. It's on both websites.
And the date is October 12th. Doors open at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a great show.
And that's a Saturday
That's a
night.
Saturday night. It's going to be a great show. We've seen a lot of Rachel's performance with Nava Sanctum. You guys, even for a smaller show, do a lot of great work with it and do a lot of practice.
I can't really think of anything like this that's been done around here. I mean, I'm sure somebody somewhere will probably say, oh, we've done that, but I can't think of anything like this that's been done.
I don't think, in Memphis, I don't think anything like this has been. We've done variety shows, but not like a storytelling.
That's what I mean. I know
Yeah.
at one of the Sinisters there was a dance routine, then there was, I don't know what to call the other one specifically.
Aerial silks.
There was aerial, and then there was also the bloodletting.
Well, it was the body
Oh,
piercing.
yeah.
It was
that
more
was
of that.
another girl. She's not
Yeah.
in our troupe, but yeah.
But, you know,
It was a mix
I
of
know
stuff.
all of that was going on, but this is a different level. This is a full-on, start-to-finish, single event production. And you're mixing dance, you're mixing acting, you're mixing song, you're mixing all these different elements into one full production. And, you know, for one little girl with a dance troupe, that's
a
pretty
lot of work.
significant amount of work to put on, and a hell of a production that you've put together.
Well, we're really looking forward to it. I mean, we've been working on this for the past 6 months, so we're ready to show everybody what we got.
Now you're also teaching classes. tell us a little bit more. Now you're doing these. Are you still doing them over at the Hookah Lounge?
Actually, I teach out of home now. I teach on Sundays. I have a 5:30 class and a 6:30 class, and that's $10 if you're interested in learning belly dance.
I bet you. I mean, I don't see how you have time to do anything.
I don't either.
You know, you do the belly dance troupe. Are you still doing the graphic design work?
No, I'm not doing the graphic design work anymore.
You still tattooing?
Still tattooing.
When you come home, does your boyfriend say, "Who are you?"
Well,
no, but he's been a big help. He's helped us with the set design and all kinds of stuff. So.
well, it's good that you have that support. We're going to take another quick break right here, and then we're going to wrap up the show. But please go check out Alice at 1884 at Minglewood Hall, October 12th. Doors open at 8. Show begins at 9. It's going to be a great show. You need to go see it.
We'll be right back after this.
Morning, Mum and Dad. If love is something you've got removed in the hunger for bread.
John, let's go to my father's today. You could get a new book.
You need to travel all the way to Tenere when our needs are met right here.
How about we take a walk through the outfield like we
Life
used
is like a hot bath. It feels good while you're in it, but the longer you stay in, the more wrinkles you get.
All right, welcome back to the show. We took a quick look at John Gray by Dan Baker. Again, right now, Dan Baker and Rachel. What's Rachel's last name again?
Taylor.
I always forget that. Currently, they have Avarice in the
Hot Springs
Horror Film
Fest.
Fest. We're hoping the best for them, that they'll bring home the gold, as it were, because I don't know about anybody else out there, but I've seen the whole thing, and good God,
That's
that is a gorgeous
fantastic
film.
movie.
That
Fantastic
is one of the
movie.
best things I've seen come out of town in a long time, and he deserves any award and every award he can come across for it. So, and Rachel did a fantastic job directing it as well. So, anyway, back to the Rachel at hand. So, an hour and a half show, 6 months of pre-production, 14 to 20 people in the production, all while doing all these other things. After a deserved vacation, when this is all over, What is it you think you would be aiming towards next? Are you going to try to put on a production similar to this quarterly? Are you going to try to do this annually, or
Semi-annual.
is it a holidays target
We
thing?
definitely want to keep it in the fall and also in the spring. So we'll bring it back again.
So twice a year, maybe?
Twice a year. I've got some ideas for some other shows in the works that will be...
Can you give us any insight into ideas?
I guess not.
Not yet.
Okay.
Coming soon.
Fair enough.
It will require a lot of training, so those things are going to be really cool once we get to that point.
Now, with the production you're doing, is there actual dialogue?
No.
Okay.
It's all, there is some acting scenes, but there's no verbal acting going on. So we're all set at a tea party table in one scene, and we're all interacting with each other in an acting way.
Gotcha.
But we're not actually speaking.
The reason I asked is because as we've been going over the business side of filmmaking, I automatically think of who owns the rights to Alice in Wonderland, what kinds of issues could you have, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know that if you're actually not using any dialogue at all, if it would truly matter.
I'm not, there's such a gray line between, with what she's doing and comparatively to what we're doing.
Yeah.
We have to be careful. We have to license music. We have to license product and everything like that. I think more along the lines of what she's doing. Now, if it was a big Broadway kind of production,
right,
it would be a different story.
Right.
But it's in product town, Memphis. So, I don't think there's not going to be anything that she's going to have to worry about that.
We've got our own take on this story too, so it's
I was going to say, I know that you've bent the story, and even the title isn't specific anymore. So
no, it's.
I think you'd get away with everything.
Yeah, it's based off of, but it's not.
It's not the exact.
Let me say this: I want you to get away with everything because ideally, as he said, we're going to film it.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to be able to actually have a saleable product that you can put out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be great. Definitely.
If nothing else, a copy could go in here as a production, locally produced project or something like that, to where people would be able to go back and revisit that experience.
Yeah.
Unless you intend to, bring it back again.
Oh, we will. We work too hard on this to be a one-time show, so.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, with as much publicity, and y'all have done a great job at marketing, doing everything I've seen posters all over the place, and y'all doing that. I'm wondering if it's something that's going to be sold out, because a lot of people are talking about it and want to go see it. I think you will, and I think you'll hear of more people wanting you to do it.
Now,
more than once.
With it not being a one-time thing potentially, I actually was wondering, have you considered trying to take this outside of the city?
That's the next goal.
Actually go, roadworthy with it.
Y'all already done, with Nava Sanctum, you've already done some road stuff, going to different places and different venues.
Yeah, we've done Jackson, Tennessee, Nashville, and other cities, but I'm definitely looking to take it to Nashville and possibly Louisville within the next year, so it'll be good to branch out.
Now, are there hot spots in this country for belly dance? I know, there are certain cities where burlesque is bigger than other places. Is there particular central points for belly dance?
I would say out west is really good for belly dance. It's like California,
Las Vegas. I know that we have a mutual friend together, Natalia, and she's from Memphis based. I've worked with her in some of the commercial stuff that I've done before we partnered up, and she has hit the circuit very hard in Las Vegas. She does belly dance, she does fire breathing. She's also a DJ, and she's been very, very successful in Las Vegas.
Where did you get your experience, your start belly? Who taught you?
Memphis Rocks, locally here
Locally?
in Memphis. Under Liz London and Julie Downham.
How long have you been belly dancing?
It's been about 7 years now, close to. So it's been quite a journey.
Fun one.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure, like any journey, it's been
It's
fun
it's
and
up
less
and down.
fun.
It's had its terrifying moments, its stressful moments, and just some of the best moments of
But
my
would
life.
you change it?
No, no way. Absolutely not.
I will say, as much as you did bring a passion and give Jamie something to work with, I know your real passion is the dance.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing we discussed in our one-on-one classes. You weren't taking acting classes to act, you were taking acting classes to learn to express.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were going to take that to your dance, as we covered earlier. So
Well, we are gonna have, it's about time to
It
wrap
is
up the show.
about the end of the show.
I wanted to say thank you for coming out.
Thanks for having me. This has been fun.
Absolutely.
The
We
trailer.
really wish you the best.
Yes.
And hope that, I kind of hope you have to turn people away at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be a tremendous thing for any, whether it's a film we did or the event you have, for any artist to have so many people turn up that you have to turn them away. So I wish you the best on that.
We both do, and we can't wait to be there.
Yeah.
I
excited.
am really looking forward to seeing what you've come up with, because I know it's going to be different.
It's gonna be cool.
So we will see 2 weeks from yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
October 12th, 8:30.
Doors open at 8. Show
I'm
starts
sorry.
at 9.
Doors open at 8. Show starts at 9. 1884 Minglewood Hall.
Be there on time, because once the show starts, you've got about 5-10 minute grace period, and then we're shutting the doors. Nobody will be allowed in. So it's very important to get there, get your seats, get positioned, and watch the show and enjoy it.
Tickets are $15 a head, and as she said, there are still VIP tickets available for $25. There's a dozen of those left, so act quick, because I have a feeling that the VIP seats are where you're going to want to be sitting,
Mm-hmm.
because it's dance. That's all I'll say. Thank you for joining us this week. Thank you, Rachel, for joining us.
Thank
We'd
you
like to
for
thank
having me.
Daniel Martine and Dorv Armour for also being a part of this, and we wish them all the luck with the MidSouth Film Showcase that they will be bringing us in February, and we hope that you out there as filmmakers will submit your films and get an opportunity to see it on a big screen and possibly take home a newly officially christened an indie, whatever that might look
Look
like.
like, yeah, really.
Thanks again. Join us next week.
Peace.